Good evening. I'd like to call to order the meeting for Bedford Township Board for November 10th, 2020. Let's stand for the pledge. I pledge to the flag
of the United States of America,
and to the republic for which it
stands,
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Goldsmith, if you could open us up in prayer, please.
Thank you. Father in heaven, we thank you for this evening. We thank you again for the many blessings you have provided our community and our country. We pray for our country in this time of transition. We pray that the transition be smooth and that we keep our eyes upon you in all that we do and say. I pray for discernment for the board this evening, for wisdom as we go through the agenda and perform the business of Bedford Township. We remember all these things in your name. Amen.
Amen. Okay, first item is the approval of the agenda. Before we get going on that, I want to add one under item 8F, or I'm sorry, 8G, approval of the 8 Monroe County Road Commission motions. We need to add in the access grade all contract for $5,000. That's for work that's performed for ditches and drainage and stuff like that above and beyond. So we need to add that contract in there as well. Other than that, I look for a motion to approve the agenda.
Motion to approve the agenda is amended.
Support.
Okay, motion and supported by Ms. Janizek. Any discussion? Seeing none, Ms. Hertzberger, could you please call the roll?
Mr. Steiner?
Aye.
Ms. Janusek?
Aye.
Mr. Navarre is not here. Mr. Clemens is not here. Mr. Montry?
Aye.
Hirschberger votes aye. Mr. Peroni?
Aye, and the motion passed 5-0. Item number 3 is the consent agenda. The agenda committee recommends to A, approve and place on file the minutes of the October 20th, 2020 regular meeting of the Bedford Township Board. I look for a motion.
Motion to approve the consent agenda. Support.
Okay, motion by Mr. Steiner, supported by Mr. Montry. Discussion? Seeing none, Ms. Hertzberger, could you please call the roll?
Mr. Steiner?
Aye.
Mr. Montry?
Aye.
Ms. Janusek?
Aye.
Hirschberger votes aye. Mr. Peroni?
Aye, and the motion passed 5-0. Okay, next is public comment. Comments limited to 2 minutes for board agenda items. Good evening. Go ahead with your comment, please. Just state your name and address. Go ahead with your comment. Just state your name and address. Hello?
Hello. You hear me?
Yep, go ahead with your comment. Just state your name and address.
I just came to visit and see all the pretty girls. That's all. Ivanka and Melania asked me to come to their meeting, and I thought I'd be here. Better see the good-looking girls in Bedford.
Okay, thank you for your comment. Have a great night.
Okay,
next caller.
Hi, this is Lamar Frederick, 3254 Deer Creek Drive. Again, I've been looking on the agenda for months. Where's the status of the grievance? I would think the board would want to know what has happened to one of its employees and where the grievance's the status is. Number 2, there's a series of contracts for roads totaling about $161,000 plus. I would hope that the board would appropriate the money for that. Signing the contract is simply putting the township in responsibility for providing the funds, but it has not been appropriated. We don't want to do the thing that we did last June, which was to amend the budget by $1 million because you failed to appropriate the money. Number 3, grants at the end. says you want to take the excess funds and use it for supply. What's left over? Is this some kind of a mystery? It was a pretty big sized grant to begin with. And I think the citizens ought to know what was spent and what's left. Lastly, a shout out to all the vets for their service, for their contribution to our welfare, and for those who gave all. I want to salute each and every one of them. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Have a great night. Go ahead and state your name and address and go ahead with your comment. Thank you for your comments. Have a great night. Go ahead and state your name and address and go ahead with your comment.
Hi. This is Gail Kane, 1056 West Temperance. I'm calling in regarding the agenda item regarding Library Advisory Board. I would like to know whether they themselves have endorsed a replacement. And the other item I wanted to touch base on was the roads. It would be nice if we could have a date when each road had already received work that was done on it. In other words, when did it originate? When was the last time something was done to the road, such as Crab Erie to Route? I believe that's kind of a newer road. So I'm hoping that we get explanation on each one of those items as they come across before you guys go ahead and approve it. And I think that's it. I'll wait till the next call in for the rest. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comment. Have a great night. Any more callers, George? Well, hold on. This one already called in, George.
Yeah, somebody cut me off.
I'm here.
Go ahead with your comment.
No comment.
Okay, moving on, George, to the next agenda item, which is new business 8A, vouchers for payment. Ms. Hirschberger? You're muted.
No, I knew that, but what about
We got 6A.
6A?
Oh, sorry about that. Okay, 6A, approval to purchase a Demo Hurst hydraulic combination tool package and to upgrade the current Hurst extraction tools for the fire department. Chief Massinger?
Yes, sir. So this is a demo set that's available through the dealership. So they use these when they're showing and giving demonstrations. We intended to purchase a complete set, about $30,000 worth of a complete set next year as part of an anticipated purchase for a new engine to replace the equipment that we bought. You remember a used set from Palmyra a number of years ago when we bought it. It was at the end of its life and they were replacing it, but it was a little newer than what we had. Being that this combination tool is available and there's a significant discount, about $4,000 for the combination tool that's available right now as a demo. With the money that we have in the account, we thought it would be prudent to save the money down the road and make this request right now so we can replace that last old set of extrication tools.
Okay, any comments or questions for Chief? Mr. Steiner?
Just a quick comment to the chief. I know that you've worked hard on this equipment. I know a couple of years ago, I was out at one of your demos, and back then, I was also able to test some of this equipment that you've put into your trucks and rigs right now. These hydraulic pieces of equipment save a lot of time, energy, and manpower. And again, just being able to bring something like this forward and being able to save thousands of dollars up front over a proposed purchase that's coming next year. Again, good job in keeping your eyes open for these savings opportunities.
Thanks, sir.
Okay. Any more comments or questions? Okay, seeing none, I look for a motion.
Mr. Supervisor, I'll make the motion to approve the request for the approval of the demo Hurst hydraulic combination tool package from Apollo Fire Equipment Company at the cost of $9,485 as presented.
Support.
Okay, motion and support of Ms. Januzak. Discussion? Okay,
Do you know
Mr.
if it's
Steiner?
still available, Chief? Like as far as you know?
Yeah, so there are two models. This one's a little bit smaller. It's a lighter version. I checked with them earlier, and both of them are still available. We wanted to go with the smaller, lighter version because we've got two of the larger sets in our other two stations. So yes, it's still available. I told him I would contact him and let him know in the morning how it went.
All right. We have a motion and a support. Mr. Steiner, your hand's still up, just so you know. Mr. Berger, could you please call the roll?
Mr. Steiner,
Aye.
Ms. Januzak,
Aye.
Mr. Montry,
Aye.
Hirschberger votes aye. Mr. Peroni.
Aye, the motion passed 5-0. Okay, moving on to item 8A, vouchers for payment. Ms. Hirschberger?
I'd like to make a motion that the following vouchers be approved for payment. General Fund, $28,647. Fire District, $7,428.32. Police Fund, $1,744.45. Park Fund, $1,186.68. Fire Equipment, $45,825.77. Library Fund, $1,791.20. Downtown Development Authority, $2,975.69. Sewer O&M, $2,351.14. Trust and Agency Fund, $1,856.38, for a grand total of $93,806.63.
Support.
Okay, motion and support by Ms. Januzak. Discussion?
Yeah, I didn't think about it until like right now, and I don't know if we might be fine. I had emailed Bob earlier today in buildings and grounds and building inspection. There was a line item that went into buildings and grounds that was supposed to all go in building inspection, and he said, yeah, that's what it was. It all does need to go there, but I don't know if that matters. I just figured he's gonna fix it. It's not a big deal, but just for our motion's sake, I want to make sure that that's good.
Yeah, he corrected it today.
He corrected it, and it won't affect this. We still have to pay the bills, and this is just paying the bills. But the fund was changed.
Okay, could you call the roll, please?
Hirschberger votes aye. Ms. Januzak?
Aye.
Mr. Montry?
Aye.
Mr. Steiner?
Aye.
Mr. Peroni.
Aye, the motion passed 5-0. Item 8B, request to nominate a replacement to the Library Advisory Board. Mr. Montry?
So, Library Advisory Board, at their last meeting, made a motion to he had been struggling to make meetings for the last, I don't know how many months. And in talking to him, it's been just, he's trying, but he's working, I don't know that he's working 80 hours a week right now. He's a small business owner, so just struggling with employees, and he's a one-man show pretty much. So they're looking to move him, and I think it makes sense. It's just for him to try to get to that meeting was just a struggle coming back down from Detroit. So.
Okay, and then Mr. Hirschberger, we're all set for the budget as far as moving the $2,000?
That'll be done at the next meeting. Yeah, we're doing budget adjustments, so we're going to do it all at the same time.
Okay, good. Okay, I look for a motion.
Now, are we appointing someone new or like nominating a replacement, or are we just?
Mr. Ma, I'll put somebody on the next agenda or in the future agendas.
So we're just making the motion to
remove Mr. Adler and to do the budget adjustment.
Well, just to remove Mr. Adler,
just
budget
to
adjustment will be done next meeting.
Yeah.
All right, I'll make the motion to remove Aaron Adler from the Library Advisory Committee or Library Advisory Board.
I'll second as presented.
Okay, motion is supported by Mr. Steiner. Discussion? Seeing none, could you call the roll, please?
Mr. Montroy?
Aye.
Ms. Janzek?
Aye.
Hirschberger votes aye. Mr. Peroni?
Aye, the motion passed 5-0. Item 8C, approval to install gas pressure regulators to Fire Station 1. Chief Massengill.
Yes, sir. So Mr. Jacobs couldn't be here tonight. I'll do the best I can to explain the situation with the gas pressure and the regulators. Essentially, with the new generator that came in, the gas company needs to increase the pressure that's going to the building, and then as such, the rest of the rest of the appliances inside there have to have fittings on there to reduce that pressure back down to the normal line pressure that's coming in. So essentially, this is the pricing. The email he sent over was the pricing so that we can finish up all the work at Station 1 and have the backup generator up and running.
Okay. Any comments or questions for Mr. Massengill? Okay, seeing none, I look for a motion.
Mr. Supervisor, I'll make the motion to approve the proposal from JDRM Engineering, mechanical consulting engineer, for the installation of the required equipment of the gas pressure regulators, one to the generator and one into the building, and then replace another regulator with 60 PSI to the 2 PSI regulator as presented. Our cost for Michigan Gas at $264 and DIMEC of $2,400.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor. Do we hear support?
I'll support it. I'll support.
Okay, supported by Mr. Monstri. Discussion? Seeing none, could you call the roll, please?
Mr. Steiner?
Aye.
Mr. Montroy?
Aye.
Ms. Janzek?
Aye.
Hirschberger votes aye. Mr. Peroni?
Aye, the motion passed 5-0. Item D, approval to install UV disinfectant lighting for the HVAC system at Fire Station 1. Chief?
Yes, sir. So this is basically to put UV lighting in as part of the COVID measures. We've got it in Station 2 and Station 3 right now, but we're just looking for approval to install it. It's Station 1, so we've got the same level. It's similar to the ones, I believe it's the same ones we've also installed in the township.
Okay. Any comments or questions? I mean, this is the other two buildings do have this equipment installed or similar equipment installed. So this is just a way to utilize some of the grant funds and make the buildings ultimately safer. So any more comments or questions?
We still got plenty of money in for the like COVID funds or whatever.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah, I'll make a motion to install UV disinfectant lighting for the HVAC system in Fire Station 1 as presented.
Support.
Okay, motion supported by Ms. Janzek. Discussion?
Do we want a friendly amendment just to put in the amount?
Please,
cost?
friendly amendment of $1,818.66. Please.
Good.
Okay. Could you call the roll, please?
Mr. Montroy?
Aye.
Ms. Janzek?
Aye.
Mr. Steiner?
Aye.
Hirschberger votes aye. Mr. Peroni?
Aye, and the motion passed 5-0. Okay, item 8E, approve repairs to the 2011 Ford F-150 used by the building department. I'm requesting to the board the repairs that had to be made on the 2011 Ford F-150 used in the building department. This vehicle only has 116,000 miles, and the work was extensive. It was the main was the timing belt and everything that went along with it. And we didn't budget enough money for this, so we're going to have to do a budget adjustment in the building department next time. But we needed to get the vehicle fixed and get it back on the road. So here we are. So looking for approval for that.
So it looks like this work's already been done then.
It has been done, yes.
So are we we're just approving paying the bill?
Well, I mean, I guess I'm just letting you know, but it had to be done. I mean, it's a 2011, Ford F-150. The vehicle's worth, easily over $10,000. So, we can't have the building inspector's got to be able to continue moving on. We didn't budget enough money to get it done. We tried being as skimpy as we could, over the summer with COVID, and this is one area where we didn't budget enough. So yeah.
No, I agree. I mean, yeah, I don't know that there's a vehicle that holds its value like an F-150, so I'll agree with you on that. But I don't know. I would have liked to have had. There's a lot of work and a lot of parts and a lot of everything. I'm not an auto mechanic, but it just seems like quite a job being done. I would have liked more of an explanation from said mechanic or the department head or you know what I mean, or whatever.
Yeah, his timing belt went out. I mean, it's, we have a negotiated deal with Lewis Avenue Auto Repair at $65 an hour plus 30% off parts. So that reflects that. So we have work that gets done on vehicles almost once every other couple weeks. So, if we're, I mean, this is just a little bit bigger of a job. I mean, we have work done on this on dump trucks, and so what we have, the engine had to be pulled for this job. So it wasn't a little job. So, okay, I'll make a motion. We approve the bill for Lewis Avenue Auto Repair for $3,157.19. And next meeting, we'll do a budget adjustment in the building department fund.
All right, I'll support it.
Okay, motion is supported by Mr. Montry. Discussion.
I have a question. Can we reduce it by the tax? Looks like they charged us tax.
The $22.
Yeah, so it'll be reduced by the $22.80.
Okay, yeah, I'll give him a call tomorrow.
All right.
Hey, could you call the roll, please?
Mr. Peroni,
Aye.
Mr. Montry,
Aye.
Mr. Steiner,
Aye.
Ms. Jandisek,
Aye.
Hirschberger votes aye.
Okay, moving on to 8F, approval of emergency repairs to a drainage tile at Linwood and Case. I got a call from Chris Stanley a few weeks back, roughly, for a repair that he was concerned about. There's bus traffic on there. He was concerned about, the tile flipping up. So I told him to go ahead and get the repair done. We're about to budget $5,000 for next fiscal year for these types of repairs. So this money will just come out of our roads fund, which we have plenty of money budgeted in our roads fund. So I'm looking for approval on that.
Can you explain, Paul, like, can you explain more? Like, I don't understand, like, what this is and what,
It's a drainage tile that goes under the road.
so what's costing $3,500? What are they doing? Putting
Digging
gravel
it
on
up
top
and-
of it?
Digging it up and replacing the whole tile.
The whole tile needs replaced?
Yeah. It was a hazard. And, with timing, when he's in Bedford, he tries to do as much work as possible, and it would have been a while to where he could get back to it. So, and I talked to him about, just typically we have a partnership with the road commission with these, and this is 100% Bedford. They're out of funds at the road commission and for drainage. So that's where we're at. Okay, I'll make a motion that we approve the cost to fix the drainage tile at Linwood and Case in the amount of $3,500. That's the exact amount. And for the record, it was an emergency repair, so look for support.
I have a question, Paul, after you get support.
Support it for discussion purposes, Paul, and you said you were looking for the exact amount?
It's $3,500.
So do we have a document from the road commission?
The contract hasn't come yet because they had to do the work in emergency, so they're saying it over, Rick. That was the amount quoted by Chris Stanley to do the work, so it won't be over the 35, exceed 3,500. I told Chris I don't like to make the practice of doing the emergency because the board doesn't like to be, surprised with these, so we do our best to avoid the situation, but when it comes up, and somebody says it's an emergency and you say no and you hold off a month and something does happen, then, What was your question? Did we have a support? Anybody?
Yeah, Rick supported.
What was your question?
My question is, so is this something we'll be doing for all tile now that busts like this? Because there's probably going to be more than just this one.
I guess, yeah. If we have buses, deals like this that are a hazard, Chris kind of is the guy that says, here's the ones that we're going to fix. And then, there's obviously ones like in neighborhoods where we do a special assessment district, and it costs the whole neighborhood. Like my neighborhood just did. We just fixed 13 sewers, or whatever, caps or whatever. And,
I realize that, but if we have another one bust like this in a neighborhood, we're going to repair it too.
Yes.
So the special assessment wouldn't take effect unless we're talking major drain issues, not just a drain pipe busting.
Well, it was like when the driveway collapsed in the neighborhood off of Stearns Road towards Adler on the right with Canterbury, you know, we had to do a partnership and fix that, you know, with the road commission. They partner with us typically on these, but like he told me, they're out of money. So they've done all the work they can do this year. So.
I just wanted to be clear in case we get other residents calling.
Yeah, I mean, at some point, when if you get 25 calls and you know, we're gonna have to discuss that more with the road commission, how they want to handle it, you know, but I mean, the bottom line is it's their responsibility at the end of the day to fix these. The board just, you know, it's the same thing. The snows, it's their responsibility to plow the snow. It's their responsibility to fix all the roads. But this board has partnered with the road commission because it's a funds issue. So this is another one of those things.
We're at that point that if every time we turn around, they can just automatically say, we don't have any more funds. That's pretty simple way to just push it off on the township every time. And that's got to change a little bit. Because we can't just accept that answer all the time. You know, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 adds up every time it hits. And then what do we have to do? I mean, I know you said we could take it out of our roads fund, which we're not planning to spend as much as we've got budgeted so far. But again, we still need to hold a line at some point.
Well, this is the first time they've ever done this and not partnered. But keep in mind, we only budget $5,000, so they understand that's what the board's maxing out at is $5,000 for these repairs. So typically they're $500, $600, $700. So, you know, the one over off of by Kip's RV was a little more expensive off Minks, you know, but so.
I just don't want to be the one that tells a resident, sorry, we fixed that one, but we can't fix yours.
Okay. Okay. Could you call the roll, please?
Mr. Peroni?
Aye.
Mr. Steiner?
I'm not exactly happy with the road commission, but it's already been repaired. I guess for this one, I'm going to say aye, but we need to make it very clear to the road commission that we just can't continue this path.
Mr. Montroy?
Aye.
Ms. Janusik?
Aye. And I also mirror what Rick said.
I'm going to say aye, but I agree too. I don't want to get it into a point where we're telling residents we did for one, but we can't do for others.
Then what we should do is not approve $5,000 for access grading when we get to the road contracts, and we won't partner with them on it. So that's what we need to do. But we've already had this for the last 6 months over there by Giant Oaks. We fixed that. We fixed probably since I've been in office, probably 20 cases. You don't see them often, but you have times where, you know what I mean, they need a partnership from us, and we need, you know, to get a job fixed. Now, if we're going to have neighborhoods have to fix these issues with a special assessment district, every time you have a drainage issue or something, it'll be a disaster. It won't get done. And then when we have an emergency, the road commission is going to say, sorry, you know, we don't have the funds to fix it. And there we are in a spot too, you know, so.
Well, it's like I said, I just don't want to get to the point where we fix one and then tell the next person no.
I don't think we'll get to that point. I think we'll have to discuss it at a board and say, hey, you know, we might have to do a budget adjustment if we need a few extra dollars, you know, throughout the year to do a fix. And, you know, we're going to have to sit down with Chris and really plan this out. So, I mean, typically we haven't even gone over the 5,000 since I've been around. So, okay. Moving on to, you called the roll, didn't you? Yeah, you did.
Yes.
And it passed 5-0. Item 8G, approval of 8 Monroe County Road commission contracts, actually 9, including the grade also. I had Barry Bushman come on. I wanted him to kind of give an update a little bit too on the asset management plan, where we're at, and kind of let the board know, where we've come. We're at a point now to we're pretty much in maintenance mode, other than the partnership with Adler and Whiteford and the second phase of Crab. So we're in great shape, and that's why you're seeing such a low number on here this year. But go ahead, Barry.
Thanks, Paul. Can everybody hear me okay? Okay. Yes, obviously the Bedford Township Board has done a great job over the last several years of approving road funding, both your county primary as well as your local road system. The biggest change this year is the fact that the road commission, due to all the gas tax and everything else that was programmed to kick in, has finally, or had up until COVID, had provided additional funding to the Monroe County Road Commission. So in their meetings with the various townships this year, they have said that they have their own 5-year plan, and they have now taken over 100% all work on county primary roads. That's a great thing. They said they're going to touch, or they were going to touch, every county primary road with some type of repair, improvements, or maintenance effort on all the primary roads in each township in the next 5 years. However, as you were just discussing the funding issue, the road commission did say also that with their cutback in funding and the like, they will, the plan will probably be slowed a year or two. However, having said that, the good part is for Bedford Township, unlike many other townships, the majority of your roads are primary roads. So that's a great benefit to Bedford. It allows us to focus on our township local roads and to and determine what we need to do. And likewise, we're more in a maintenance type mode because you have made such significant repairs to the other road system. So what you're seeing before you tonight is a series of contracts, mostly single chip seal type contracts. Most of them are overlays over, or chip seals over, existing asphalt roads that were done recently. The theory is, recently in the last several years, many of the road commissions have gone to placing a chip seal over a new asphalt roads within the first 3 to 5 to 7 years. They have found that by doing so, you extend the life of the asphalt road significantly. It slows the oxidation of the asphalt pavement and extends that life significantly. So the road commission has been proposing to do a lot of chip seals on the newer asphalt roads. Typically those, like I say, are in the 5 to 7 year mode. So that's a lot of what you're seeing on your contracts. In addition, substation, we had a proposal to we had put a double chip seal on a while ago, and this is just one additional course of chip seal to guarantee that we have enough thickness on there to help maintain that road for years to come. The one benefit we did see as part of the road commission taking over the primary roads, they did cut back on all their funding for matching monies for the local roads because of the funding issue that they've had with COVID. But they did volunteer to fund 1 mile of chip seal. And that's why your one local road contract clearly shows that it's being paid for by the road commission and not by the township. So that's your contracts that we have. The road commission, one of them is an overband crack fill, or OBC contract as we call it. There is a question whether that will get done. The road commission was having trouble with their contractor from OBC last year, and they aren't sure what they're going to do this year. Although we did see that contractor doing quite a bit of work late this fall. You probably saw them in Bedford Township working. So The road commission was unsure what they would do with the OBC contracts in 2021. One last thing, just for the record, probably on a brighter note, the road commission, if you've ever looked at the guardrail, the curve down on the south end of Crab Road near Telegraph, that's virtually falling in the ditch and the like. The road commission has agreed to repair that this fall at their cost, which is significant, and that is a local road. So that's a little brighter note. Also, the road committee and Paul has requested changing Crab Road from US 24 to Stearns to a township or a county primary road, which would then put the burden of the future repairs and the like on the road commission. So they generally said they were positive to doing that, and paperwork should be forthcoming. So that's pretty much a quick summary of the road work we've done towards the end of fall, early end of fall here, and the various contracts you have in front of you. And we'd be glad to answer any questions you have if you have any questions on a specific project.
Well, why don't we go through as far as approvals, and then if anybody has any questions while we're approving, you can answer it. So, okay, the first one is Secord to Douglas, 1.1 miles of overband crack fill in the amount of $8,750. I look for a motion. I'll make a motion to approve the work to be done for the Secord to Douglas overband crack fill at $8,750.
I'll support.
Okay, motion is supported by Mr. Steiner or Mr. Montry. Discussion. Anybody have any comments or questions from Mr. Bushman? Okay, seeing none, Mr. Speaker, could you call the roll, please?
Mr. Peroni,
Aye.
Mr. Montry,
Aye.
Mr. Steiner,
Aye.
Ms. Janzak,
Aye.
Hirschberger votes aye.
Okay, and the motion passed 5-0. The next one is Crab Road, Erie to Rauch, 2 miles, single chip seal in the amount of $39,936. I'll make a motion. We approve that work.
I'll support.
Okay, motion is supported by Mr. Montry. Discussion.
That was the only one I wasn't sure about, and Ms. Keene had mentioned it in her comments earlier. I know that it was recently, that was one that was very recently done. I know between Erie and Samaria, but I didn't know if it was from Samaria on. And I didn't remember. And Barry, you were saying like the 5 to 7 mark. I didn't think that was more than 5 years ago, but I can't remember when that had been done. I was just curious about that.
That was probably a little less than 5 years. I'm trying to remember the exact date, but that was actually one the road commission had recommended 2 miles on, and we did look at it, and we felt that it probably wouldn't hurt to do it. It probably could have waited a year, but given the fact that better safe than sorry, and it certainly doesn't hurt the project, and probably again it's a maintenance type situation where we can preserve the pavement. So with the road commission's recommendation, we supported that and brought the contract to the board.
Well, I'm sure anybody that lives on that mile stretch appreciates anything. That road was sorry. That mile was very sorry for a very, very, very long time.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
Okay, could you call the roll, please?
Mr. Peroni,
Aye.
Mr. Montry,
Aye.
Ms. Janzak,
Aye.
Mr. Steiner,
Aye.
Hirschberger votes aye.
The motion passed 5-0. Next is Dean, Crab to Minks, 1.1 miles, single chip seal with 4-inch bar seal in the amount of $24,343, but the township's portion is only $20,119. Actually, it looks like it's all township.
Yeah.
$24,343.
Yeah, the county's the next one.
Okay, so I'll make a motion. We approve that. work to be done.
I'll support.
Okay, motion supported by Mr. Montroy. Discussion.
Barry, what's the 4-foot bar seal?
What we've noticed a little bit on that stretch of Crab Road, that was a little different. We did a lot of work without going into great detail. We did a lot of work with what they call FDR, which is full depth recycling with asphalt. That road, because it was late in the year, the road commission changed to a cement stabilized base. And we did notice some cracking along the edge. And what the bar seal is essentially an additional application along that edge of the pavement prior to the full chip seal to help stabilize that cracking that we've seen.
Okay.
Okay, could you call the roll, please?
Mr. Peroni,
Aye.
Mr. Montroy,
Aye.
Ms. Janzisek,
Aye.
Mr. Steiner.
Aye.
Hirschberger votes aye.
And the motion passed 5-0. Next is Jackman Road, Temperance to Erie, 0.99 miles, single chip seal. This is the Monroe County Road Commission's cost at $19,446. I'll make the motion. We approve that.
Second.
Okay, motion supported by Mr. Steiner. Discussion.
Now, why are we making a motion before that?
Because it's a local road.
Even though it's their funds? What are you gonna say, Trudy?
I was gonna say, because we have to go into the contract with them because of the local road.
Okay.
Okay, any more comments or questions? Seeing none, could you call the roll, please?
Mr. Peroni? Did you say aye? I didn't hear you. Mr. Peroni, did you say aye?
Paul.
Call 1-248-934-0006.
I can hear you now. Can you hear us, Paul?
Welcome to the audio conferencing center. Please enter a conference ID followed by pound. If you're the meeting organizer, press star now.
He just left.
Is that him?
Yeah, that's me.
Okay. All right.
Looks like I'm connected back in right now, so.
Yeah, we could hear you the whole time.
Oh, so you could hear me yelling? I'm just.
All right, let's try this again. Mr. Peroni.
Hi.
Mr. Steiner.
Steiner needs to let back in too.
Mr. Steiner.
Oh, am I back in?
Yes.
Okay. You think you're in the middle of calling the roll.
Yeah, I called Paul. I'm calling you now.
Okay, aye.
Ms. Janzisek.
Aye.
Mr. Montroy.
Aye.
Hirschberger votes aye.
Okay, and the motion passed. Did Mr. Steiner vote?
Yes, everyone voted aye.
Okay, and the motion passed 5-0. Okay. Off here a little bit. Okay, so we just did the Monroe County Road Commission's 100%, correct?
Correct. We're on Samaria.
Okay, I look for a motion, or actually I'll make a motion. We approve the Samaria, Bedford Township line to Secor, 1.05 miles single chip seal in the amount of $20,959.
Second.
Support.
Motion supported by Mr. Steiner. Discussion.
Mr. Peroni,
Aye.
Mr. Steiner,
Aye.
Mr. Montroy,
Aye.
Ms. Jandasek,
Aye.
Hirschberger votes aye.
Carol.
Okay, I think I'm back on, correct?
Hey, you're back.
I'm good.
On substation.
Okay. Okay, the next one is,
Substation.
substation. Sorry, I had difficulties with my phone there and getting back on. I'll make a motion. We approve the project for substation Dean N. Dean N to Minks, 1.4
Dead
dead end to Minks. Like Dean. 1.44 miles of single chip seal and the amount of $26,753.
Second.
Okay, motion is supported by Mr. Steiner. Discussion. Hey, could you call the roll, please?
Mr. Peroni,
Aye.
Mr. Steiner,
Aye.
Mrs. Jandasek,
Aye.
Mr. Montroy,
Aye.
Hirschberger votes aye.
Okay, and the motion passed 5-0. The next one is Temperance Road, Township line to Secor, 0.86 miles, single chip seal, and the amount of $17,205. I'll make a motion. We approve that.
I'll support. That's and I think it's obvious, but that's the Bedford Township line.
Correct.
Okay, we have a motion to support. Any more discussion? Okay, could you call the roll, please?
Mr. Peroni,
Aye.
Mr. Montroy,
Aye.
Mr. Steiner,
Aye.
Ms. Jandasek,
Aye.
Hirschberger votes aye.
Okay, the motion passed 5-0. Last one is various. This is for cutting, first cutting in spring, center of ditch, second cutting summer, back sides of the ditch, third cutting fall, both sides of the ditch. This is $23,600. This is the mowing contract. I believe it's the same contractor we've had, which they do a great job. I'll make a motion to approve this.
Support.
Okay, motion is supported. Discussion. Okay, seeing none, call the roll, please.
Mr. Peroni,
Aye.
Mr. Montroy,
Aye.
Mr. Steiner,
Aye.
Ms. Jandasek,
Aye.
Hirschberger votes aye.
Okay, the motion passed 5-0. And the last one is, it's various again, excess grade all, in the amount of $5,000. This is, to cover work being performed that we just approved. So I'll make the motion. We approve the $5,000 moving forward.
Second.
Not to exceed. Supported by Mr. Steiner. Any more discussion? Seeing none, could you call the roll, please, Ms. Hirschberger?
Mr. Peroni,
Aye.
Mr. Steiner,
Aye.
Mr. Montroy,
Aye.
Ms. Jandasek,
Aye.
Hirschberger votes aye.
The motion passed 5-0. Mr. Steiner, do you have a question?
Just a quick comment, just a quick recap for everybody's information. Out of the funds that were just approved this evening, the ones that Bedford Township is responsible for the funds, $137,946 is for various types of chip seal, overband crack sealing, etc. 23,600 mowing, 5,000 of grade all for Bedford's budget of 166,546. And then Monroe County Road Commission taking on one project at 19,446.
So just so the board knows, part of the problem we're having, and we're going to get through it, I believe, because it's, we have a new finance director, but a lot of last year's work that was performed is being pulled out of this year's budget. So, you know, we budgeted roughly $400,000, and there's already, I think, Trudy, right, 140 taken out of it already from last year's work that should have went out of last year's budget. The problem is we don't get the bills, and then they end up, you know, once they get it and process it through. So I don't know if you can fix that with the auditor or if it really matters, but you know, we have enough budgeted either way to cover it from last year's.
We haven't closed the year out yet, so we're still taking that money from last year's budget until the auditor closes us.
Okay. So.
Hey, quick question, Barry, if you know offhand, I was just curious to go along with what Rick was saying. Do we have I guess an estimate of what that guardrail on Crab Road, how much that job is?
$80,000.
I was gonna say that's been.
To be honest with you, Barry and myself had a lot to do with them doing it because it was in our contracts for us to do.
It's been looming for a long time, I know, and I knew it was expensive, but I was just curious.
One other brief comment too for the board's information. According to the Road Commission, there are a couple of federal aid jobs that they are funding 100%. If you remember in the previous years, they're also asking the townships to help contribute to those. They're not asking that contribution this year. They're forecasting Jackman Road from State Line up to Smith as a hot mix overlay at 104,000 and 6.6 mile stretch of Samaria Road, St. Anthony and Samaria at a cost of 946,000, which is an ultra thin asphalt overlay, and those are being done entirely at the Road Commission cost.
Mr. Supervisor?
Yes.
I'd just like to make the suggestion for the board to consider in your ongoing communications and negotiations with the Road Commission. And I'm going to go back to the Linwood Case Emergency Project. When you have an emergency like that, and you have a defective roadway, that is an exception to governmental immunity. And so I think the Road Commission knows very well that when you have notice of a dangerous road condition, and that dangerous road condition is an exception to governmental immunity, the entity that has jurisdiction and control over that road could be liable should there be an accident or should there be damage to property or injury to persons. So in our ongoing communications with them, when they say we don't have money, they need to take a deeper look, simply because they are liable if that road is under their direction, supervision, and control. Just a suggestion.
Okay. All right, moving on to, anybody else have any questions for Barry with the roads or the asset plan? Or? Okay, thank you for being on, Barry. 8H, elimination of the front door attendant and use of the remaining COVID-19 grant funds. Just so the board knows, there was a little miscommunication between the finance department and the supervisor's department. We asked how much money was left, and it was said there was $5,000 roughly left. Well, that wasn't taking into effect the front door attendant that was there until December. Really there's roughly 10,000, and then when you minus out the money that Chief just spent, which is the 1,800, that brings us down, to roughly 8,200. So with the amount that we're going to have with an attendant till December, I think that takes us down to roughly $5,000 is what we'd have left at the end of the year. My point in bringing this to the board is we need to have a little discussions, and I just asked Chief, he spends roughly $1,000 a month on supplies, face masks, gowns, gloves. This isn't going to end in the next 6 months. So my thought was, if we can load up Chief, with some of this extra stuff, we could take a look at removing, the front door attendant because, you're seeing very low foot traffic now and you'll see very low foot traffic in December as well. Other than when taxes come in, I'm sure, when do people start coming in for taxes, Krista?
December 1st.
December 1st, so it'll pick up then, but it's just a thought, if we want to spend money now on gear for the different departments, if we want to look at different equipment that's out there, like I know, Ms. Hirschberg, you said there's equipment where you walk through, it takes your temperature at the door automatically or something like that. If we, I just don't want to get to the end of the year, spend whatever's left on Chief so he can have equipment for months out. Or we keep paying a door attendant, which I'm fine if we want to, we'll have a few $1,000s left over at the end of the year roughly to spend money on equipment. But I'm just saying that'll only last the chief a few months. I don't know about you guys, but after the money runs out, I'm not in support of continuing on with a front door person after December is over. Personally, to be spending it out of the general fund, because when's it going to end?
All right.
We're going to keep paying somebody 40 hours a week, $700 a week to take somebody's temperature. As long as people are wearing masks, and, somebody's obviously in there without one, we just ask them to wear one, Either way, I just wanted to get the discussion going, and let the board members know kind of where we're at financially and with the grant money and whatever's your pleasure. Ms. Hirschberger?
Is Adam still on? Because I have questions for Adam.
It looks like he is.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do you have grant money to supply your own or?
Yes, ma'am, we do. So we've got reimbursement money and grant money that we received. So we do have grant money. The discussion that we had was if there's leftover grant money, there's no reason to return, or our opinion being, there's no reason to return any of this grant money, either from the fire department or that grant money that the township used. So if there's leftover grant money at the end of this process, we certainly always need PPE, the gloves, the masks, the gowns, and there's no end in sight for that. The supervisor's correct. We're running through about $1,000 a month in cleaning supplies of PPE, things like that. So,
and that's not
yes,
including supplies for the township. I mean, I know you're supplying us with masks. Is that your figures in there too? Because we're spending a decent amount of money too at the township for cleaning supplies and stuff too. So
we dropped off some masks and things like that to get the township through. So, I mean, generally speaking, those are some rough numbers that I sent you today. It's roughly with the gloves, the gowns, the masks and things like that. We're right around $1,000.
So, Chief, will this $1,800 come out of your grant that you have with the fire department?
It cannot for that equipment cannot, because the grant is specific to PPE. The grant that we wrote, whereas the grant the township received is for COVID related expenses, I believe. So anything that can be tied to ours that had to be specifically written for the purpose, and we didn't specifically write when we wrote the grant, the UV lights.
So how much do you have in money for a grant, and how long does it last you?
I think that the grant for the PPE, I think we're down to about $3,000 or $4,000 that we have for PPE right now moving forward. We did receive some grant money. We've got about $25,000 that was reimbursed, but that's specific to labor costs for our members. So we received that, and that's just a reimbursement. But I believe off the top of my head, I think it was about $12,000 we received for PPE and supplies initially.
Okay, Ms. Janizek?
I just wanted to let you guys know, I talked to a fair amount of our employees just because I wanted to know their feelings on this, because they do, they're in here every day as well. And every single person I talked to, they asked me if we could keep the door people through the end of December. Like I know I have an employee in my department who has a pre-existing condition. I know up in planning department, they have family members that they care for, and having these door people at least until the end of the year. And I don't want to, I agree we shouldn't pay them after the money runs out, but looking at what we got from Mr. Miller, it still leaves us with over $5,000 for supplies that if we use them for us or Adam uses them for the fire department, we still have enough. And if Adam has over $3,000 left in his and we have the 5,000, if he's spending $1,000 a month, that gets him through June.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. And this agenda item wouldn't have been on the agenda if it was clear
I know.
of the communication between the finance, which it's nobody's fault. It might have been how the question was asked. So I just wanted to leave it on so the board could just discuss it. But I agree with you. If we have the money, let's leave the person in place and have that extra precautionary in place. Everybody cares about the employees, wants to keep them safe. And so it's a smart thing to do. Mr. Steiner?
Yes, I would agree with Ms. Janusak's comments. I've talked to a couple of people also within Township Hall, not nearly as many as you, since I'm not over there all the time. But there is a definite concern. We also need, with some of the recommendations coming out of the state, which I know a lot of us, most of us don't always agree with. But there's definitely some things to what's going on. Some increases in cases locally and around the country. And I'm one of the last ones to say, just, let's lock everything down because of the whole thing. We just need to be careful of it. And I think that's our biggest job right here is being very careful, protect our employees. And, who knows, we might be able to reevaluate in December again. We might see, I don't expect any miracles out there, but we may see a drop in cases. We may see another spike in cases. I mean, that's the unknown that we just don't have before us. And I think at this time, it would just make more sense. We keep the person in place and we decide then toward the end of the year whether we have to keep the person or we make a change.
Okay. Does anybody have any recommendations on a front door person? Because one of them is going to be going to ordinance next week or in 2 weeks. So we're going to need somebody. So if anybody knows anybody that can sit there, let us know. Mr. Montry, do you have a question? Nope. Okay. All right. So moving on to comments from the public. Comments limited to 5 minutes for each individual. And while we're waiting for Colin, Mr. Montry, if you want to give your comments to the board.
I guess I didn't really have anything. I guess I appreciate voter turnout being up in Bedford Township. I think that's a very important thing, and I hope it only increases. Like high voter turnout is a very good thing, as long as it's under 100%.
Okay, Mr. Steiner.
Just again, to touch base on the whole COVID situation. Again, it takes all of us. Just be diligent. Try to do the right things for yourselves and your family. Also, I just wanted to apologize tonight that I'm sort of a limited capacity. That's why I'm not in video. I had some procedures done recently, so I chose to still participate this evening, but not by video. So everyone stay safe. And I did want to mention that I had one healthcare provider recently that we were talking with, and he had another healthcare provider came in the room and said, "You must be talking about Michigan roads." And of course, that person thought the roads in Michigan not so great. And he said, "But you don't live in Bedford." He said, "They've got some of the best roads around in Michigan." So kudos to the road committees and the boards that have done what we've done to make things happen to get our roads into good shape that they are today.
Thank you for your comments. Ms. Keene's calling in. George, if you want to let her in. Go ahead with your comment, ma'am.
Hi. Okay, I'm back. First off, kudos to the clerk and treasurer's department for maintaining these township offices through COVID. Additionally, another kudo out to the treasurer's department and to the clerk's department for all the work they did, especially the clerks, during the election, despite the attacks and innuendos that were made towards the clerk and her family. Another comment is I was curious as to who or if anyone went out to inspect that tile at the time they decided that it needed to be fixed, and why, if it was an emergency, what was the urgency? Because the picture appears to be that it was the outreaching of the tile into the ditch, not that it was broken under the road, or am I wrong in that? But I would think that even if there was an emergency, there should have been board approval and the paperwork in place before we paid the bill, so to speak. I also would like to know if there is a road committee. There used to be, and it would be nice if we had a list of the roads and their expected dates for their repairs, you know, when it was or when there wasn't. And then lastly, while it's not the type of business the residents envisioned in the study for downtown Temperance, the Temperance Action Committee wants to wish the Decker family well with their new cabinet shop business in Temperance. And for anyone who's a history buff, you may want to reach out to Mr. Pryor. He's always willing to share. There's a very intriguing story as to how his family came to acquire that property. At least it's not an empty building, and I guess that's how we have to look at it. But the other question I have is that the Road Commission has also stated that they have some outstanding bills that have not yet been paid for the roundabout. And so I was wondering if some of that road money, if we have our final bills, as Ms. Hirschberger said, have not all been paid. So that's it. I'll get back and wait to hear the rest. Thank you much.
Thank you for your comments. Have a great night. Next caller.
I will. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Hello, go ahead with your name and address and your comment.
Hi, Lamar Frederick, back again, 3254 Deer Creek Drive. And I guess I have a question that maybe Barry can address, or the road board, whoever that road committee is. I've been looking, as I said earlier, I looked at these contracts for the road improvements, and some of these are single seal, chip seals. And there used to be a value placed on the number of cars per day or vehicles per day. They used to say that you couldn't or shouldn't do chip seal if single seal if the number of cars per day was greater than some number. I'm assuming that the Road Commission and or Barry have looked at that to make sure that, for example, Jackman from Temperance to Erie, I'm just grabbing one, that the number of vehicles per day are not exceeding what would be appropriate for a single seal. And of course, a double seal, if you had a double seal, you could have higher vehicle concentrations. I know these are some questions that probably should have been looked at before, but I'm bringing them up now just to make sure that we've looked at that and make sure that when you do it this fall or next spring, as soon as the belly blades go down the road, it doesn't end up in the shoulder. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you for your comments. Have a great night. Okay. Ms. Januzak?
I just want to let everyone know that this week we will start printing tax bills, since you asked when they were going out earlier. We're going to start printing them and stuffing them in-house, and they will be going out December 1st. With tomorrow being Veterans Day, I'd like to thank all of the veterans for their service, and just take some time out of your day tomorrow, and if you know a veteran, you don't know a veteran, find one, whatever, just thank them. They appreciate it more than you know. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Ms. Hirschberger?
I just wanted to let the Residents know that the township will be closed tomorrow for Veterans Day and that our next board meeting will be next Tuesday. We have them back to back because of the election. I want to thank all of my election workers. They did an outstanding job. It was a long election. They were long days. I want to thank Nancy and Angie from my department. They put in a lot of hours for this election. Record 10,400 absentee ballots is a record for Bedford. I think our highest in the past has been a little over 4,000. So record number of AVs. 36% of our voters voted AV. Only 31% turned out at our polls. So that was amazing. Last, I just want to say happy Veterans Day to our soldiers, both past and present, and thank them for everything that they gave for our freedoms.
I too want to say happy Veterans Day. We can't thank you enough for everything you've done for us. I do want to give a shout out to a couple of workers at Township Hall that I specifically noticed that just worked their tail off, and that is Angie and Nancy Jen. I just watched them two for days running around. I mean, because that line was nonstop out the door for days, and man, they killed it, and they did a great job. I heard a lot of times, I do get some of the clerk's department's calls, and they got a lot of compliments. And obviously, Ms. Hirschberger, you oversee the whole operation, so kudos to you as well. You guys did a good job, and we appreciate it. I want to mention planning grant for the 100-mile bike trail is going to be going through Bedford. We are looking at a $40,000 grant for biking. Al Pryor sits on that committee and does a great job representing us, and we look to have some grants in the future coming through Bedford. We'd like to promote biking more and more in our community, and as we can, extend roads to where we can have a bike lane and a safe area for people to ride their bikes on. I too want to congratulate Bill Decker with Lillian Cabinets and Hans and that whole crew on bringing that into downtown Temperance with the grant that the Lewis Avenue Redevelopment Committee went after and received through the Manick and Smith and SEMCOG. We were able to brighten up downtown Temperance, and ultimately some businesses are thriving and coming in there, and our idea worked. If we do our end and beautify our end, then businesses will do the same. Food Town's doing a really nice facade, and Abe with Temperance Fuel Mart did a really nice addition. So, I mean, just a lot of neat stuff is happening. I want to thank everybody on this board. Actually is going to be returning after November 20th. So congrats. Some of you had a pretty easy race in the general election. You didn't have an opponent, so that's cool. But Rick and Mr. Montry, welcome. I look forward to continue working with you guys. Through the 4 years, we don't always see eye to eye or always get along, but at the end of the day, this board has done some really cool things and gotten a lot of work done. And that's what the residents care about at the end of the day. So I look forward to working with you guys and especially the two new trustees coming on, Mr. Bruning and Mr. Gore. Welcome as well. And to Mr. Clemens and Ms. Tinneberry, we'll miss you guys. You brought a lot of light to the board and a lot of great ideas and a lot of good conversations. So we'll miss you guys, and TC, good luck as our new state representative. You'll represent us well, and Ms. Tinneberry, enjoy your retirement. I look forward to working with Mr. Troy Goodenough with the Sheriff's Department. I'm excited about him. We've had and I look forward to continuing that in the future and having just a great relationship with the Sheriff's Department. I toured all the parks. Again, walked them all this week, actually. If any residents have any suggestions on some different things we could do or some things that need to be fixed or cleaned up, please email me at p.peroni@bedfordmi.org and we'll look into that. We're trying this. My goal in the next few years is to really make a lot of our parks maintenance free in partnership with the Parks Board. There's a lot of areas that we continue to have, weeding, out in front of Township Hall. Really, we should have barrier and stone library, we should have barrier and stone out front. In some of these parks areas where the gazebos are, there's, it's constant weeds. So we really need to start thinking and how we can put some barrier and stone down so we're not pulling weeds year after year after year. So if you're interested in serving on a board, shoot me an email and send an application to the clerk's department. We'll be filling a lot of vacant positions and replacing some people too that we'd like to replace because a lot of people want to serve as well. So if you are interested, please send an application. We always love new faces and getting people involved. And other than that, I wish everybody a nice day off tomorrow. Enjoy it. The weather's great. Other than that, we stand adjourned.